remember that episode I called people out who were watching in YouTube, like, you guys probably just like tab away and just have it there. They're like, no, we actually watch. I'm like, God damn it. That means I have to actually look proper decent.
Never.
Hide my non-existent receding hairline. I'm a big hat guy.
I can't hide this shit. It's just
Hey,
there.
you can. We're that NHL 23 Greater Together hat.
Oh God. Graded together while we're driving the community apart.
Oh my fucking god. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but just damn. It's
No,
been a
no,
wild
let's do
week.
it. Welcome everybody. This is the intro now. Welcome. We're gonna
Yeah.
kick off today's sinless episode of the podcast. Although with some of our takes, some people might disagree on sinless. We're gonna start off this podcast with our weekly NHL 23 updated thoughts.
Okay. We're just gonna do this every week, every Monday.
The Monday moan of NHL 23.
There we go.
Fuck.
All right, so
Oh,
so you are a bigger influencer than I am in terms of NHL. I
allegedly.
know, like allegedly, partner and all. So, what are your thoughts, given the current standings of franchise and everything? Before I met you, I would have totally been perfectly okay with the current state of the game. Like, oh, it's just NHL. And then now, ever since I started hanging out with you, I swear I've become a fucking nihilist when it comes to hockey games. I swear to God, even Timo was even mentioning that, like, dude, like you've been hanging out with Tougie so much, you're just so angry. I'm like, yeah, maybe I
Now I feel
am.
bad that Timo thinks I'm angry.
No, I just think it's passionate anger. It's like
The
we know when you
passion.
have that, like, when you have that nephew's a little shit and he can do better. That's
Yeah.
that's
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 the energy I radiate towards the EA NHL series, huh?
Mhm. Yeah. I
I
think
don't
he
think
wouldn't
we
have a
can
problem me
have
saying that.
Radiant Nephew as the episode title. What about that?
That's a good one.
Oh
But
God.
yeah, go ahead.
Uh yeah, no. Again, hi everybody to a rather informal podcast intro. This is what happens when Sin's not here. You just you let the two goofs take control of the wheel, and who knows where this ship's gonna go. Uh
Not at all.
yeah, what a great way to start off a new week, huh? Yeah,
Oh
HL
my
23, it's kind of shit. My fiance is sick.
they
Everything's
cut me
great.
they cut me up. Well, what's your problem? I can't roster edit.
Basically. Basically.
Yeah.
Um yeah, so I've talked at length obviously about my my displeasure with NHL franchise mode itself. I feel like there's no hook to play franchise mode. Custom League isn't a hook. It's, again, I'll say it, it's like putting what are they called? Are they still like suicide doors or whatever the hell? Like the inverted doors or
Oh,
whatever
you
the
mean the
fuck
ones that
they're
go like
called.
this, like in a
Yeah.
car? Yeah, suicide doors.
Yeah, it's like putting those on a Pinto. What's the point? That is Custom League. Here's this nice fancy feature. It's like, do you still follow John Butchergrass on Twitter?
Yes.
And all the
Yes.
time he's just calling out people for their chicken parm.
Oh my fucking god, the
And
chicken
it's like
parm.
those people that just like put an ungodly amount of shredded cheese on the parm to just be like, here we go. And it's like, well,
It's
yeah,
just
but your parm's fucking raw. You don't have any fucking noodles. Like,
I think I'm the Bucci Gross of this podcast, and where I'm always talking about food. Or like just in
mm,
general streams, every time you go live, twitch.tv/Tugi24 if you're following for some fucking reason. And every time you stream, I'm always in the comments or in the chat, just like, hey, what should I grab for food? What should I eat?
mm,
And like I completely derail. I mean, your chat's already derailed as much as possible. And
basically.
just we're just talking about like, oh, should I grab Popeyes or should I grab like burgers or shawarma? And you're just like, why the fuck is Endo just always eating?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because the idea of like, oh, NHL 23, let's just talk about it at the start. I really don't have anything to add. and basically not playing the game right now.
Yeah.
Um, like I have some desire to play Eichel with the buds, and then I remember what's going to happen in the gameplay, and I'm like, are people really going to have that much fun playing the game? I don't know. And then I think about franchise mode, which is meh. And then this weekend, in terms of roster editing, I'm like, you know what? Let's maybe give it a shot. And for shits and gigs, the most recent roster update that was out, people were like, "Hey, Arthur Jack or Arbor Jack is 2 inches shorter and about 40 pounds lighter than he actually is in real life in the game." So I'm like,
Mhm.
"Oh, that's fun. Let me just check the Anaheim Ducks. Let's just go through a team and see how many heights and weights are incorrect." The answer for Anaheim was just above 50% were correct. 50% or slightly above of players on the Anaheim Ducks in NHL 23 have correct height or weight. Some of them have both. As according to, I call them the holy trinity of player height and weight, NHL.com, HockeyDB, Hockey Reference. They all typically agree on that type of deal. Just about 50% for height and weight. But I'm supposed to be motivated to, dedicate dozens, if not hundreds of hours to the game towards making the rosters all fancy schmancy. Yeah, I don't think so, Chief. At the moment.
Yeah.
So, you know, I will always say to people, don't let my opinion of the game change it for you. If you're enjoying it, enjoy the damn thing. I wish I could. At the same time, now that you mentioned what you mentioned earlier, I do understand how my community or friends of mine could just be like, "Oh yeah, fuck, he's got a point." Shit, you know? Like that type of thing. Where maybe I'm not intending to, but I am indirectly or accidentally even ruining people's opinions of the game. That said, I watched you play a lot of Be a Pro for NHL 22, and it's not like you were without your own complaints type of thing, you know? But
Yeah.
in general, I made that statement on Twitter. It's just the idea of I don't see the Hut community enjoying the game. I don't really see too much of the ESHL community enjoying the game. The Be a Pro people, yourself included, are drowning at the bottom of the pool.
Yeah.
Um, it's a time. It's a time.
Yeah. So I had a Twitter thing because apparently my Twitter's been popping off in regards to NHL stuff. Because if you talk positive about the game, you got nothing. But if you say anything negative, you get like fucking 1,000 likes and all that shit.
Oh, dude,
So
let me
as of
while you're
like,
talking, you remember the tweet that I put out of the picture of like Be a Pro drowning at the bottom of the pool? I'm
oh
gonna
yeah,
find that really quickly while you say what you're gonna say, and then I'll let you
okay.
know as an example of how Twitter goes off if you're negative.
Oh yeah. So I put a tweet out basically saying listing all of the issues in regards to NHL and how the launch has gone so far. So as of October 20th, so I think this is like immediately after recorded the podcast. I said there was a lot of issues in the game. Some matches weren't counting for people. People weren't getting XP in Rivals or World of Chell. Loyalty packs hadn't gone out yet, and there were no news on the Rivals rewards and all that glitch because people were saying they had ultimates when there was a visual bug, and then like I understand that stuff when it's like beginning of the launch, but the fact that it's been like 2 weeks and nothing has really been fixed. Um, Franchise is still broken to a point that if you're an actual franchise player, offer sheets are broken. Team logic is still absolutely asinine. I found another issue that if you have a custom league and you have, let's say, for example, an SHL team in there, the game bugs out and will put like, say you have a prospect who's in the SHL, they'll sometimes appear on that team and so it like fucks it up completely. Like regardless, like the player will be on that team and then also in the farm system, and you can still use them. And yeah, there was another thing that happened in your chat. I can't remember who mentioned it, but there's another thing that was like completely busted. And like I called it like when you put out your original video, like episode 0 of the 48 team franchise, is that this mode's gonna break because I don't think there's enough resources into like game testing and putting it through. They just need like 20 of you just going through it and just testing everything. And then I said like strategies weren't saving, inaccurate player height and weight. 2007 birth years are crashing the game. And apparently to some people, that is a minor inconvenience.
Mhm.
All of those things are minor inconveniences. My thing is, if I paid $120 to get this game early access, I understand early access there's some issues, but there are people who spent up to $100 to have this game on launch, and nothing is working as designed. The one thing that was really funny is whenever they put out a patch to fix things, everything breaks because from early access up until that first patch, which was stability updates, and there was no patch notes. There was it was no issues at all. Once that patch dropped, everything broke, and that's the nature of game design and game development. Where like you work on something so long, the spaghetti code happens, and something breaks, and something other breaks. I mean, like, there's not much you can really do in terms of like a consumer standpoint, other than return the game, report it, contact the Better Business Bureau, because when you contact Better Business Bureau, they act fucking real quick. Like, Jesus.
Well, I'm depressed.
And so, like, another thing too is people are saying like, "Oh, the gameplay is great in NHL 20." That's subjective. I think it's been probably the best it's been in the past 4 years. And the reason why I say that is if you're playing be a pro and that puck goes outside of your zone and you're the puck is out there and the defense comes in, he does not stop at the blue line and reset. He like 9 out of 10 times goes right through, knowing for a fact it's going to be an offside, and it's just clockwork. The minute that puck exits that zone and the defenseman gets the puck, you know it's going to be offside. That's been in the game for years. And
Mhm.
one more thing too, NHL 23 has the exact same game modes as NHL 21 and NHL
Yeah.
22. There has been no changes for the past 3 years. And like to me, that's inexcusable. You put in like a playlist, which was a great idea originally, but then you had Hut Burst, which was basically arcade, which is basically Hut Rush, but also what cards that you own. And then like
Mm.
people who want to just play traditional hockey couldn't play traditional hockey. They had to play arcade or arcade like Hut Rush 2.0. There's so many issues on like the Hut standpoint. Like that's supposed to be their like main focus is, because it brings in all the money. But you only have, for example, one, two, three, four ways to play the game. Challenges, which take fucking hours to complete. You have Hut Rush, which is terrible for grinding. You have Hut Rivals, which is all right. And then I guess like point five would be like champs, and then you have squad battle. Like what happened to online seasons? What happened to Hut champions? Or is it Hut draft champions or whatever? Like there's so many things that were in the game before that worked perfectly fine. And I guess like because they tried to move resources over and it just blew up in their face personally. Like there's no replayability for a game that's had the same thing for 3 years. Like I wanted to start a series called Magic Man, where I talked about before, where basically the whole gimmick is that I'm creative. I am trying to set people up with crazy plays, like just finesse all the whole entire way through. I
Mm.
can't do that in NHL 23 because the attributes that I need, like elite edges and some other stuff, they're locked behind the wrong like player type. They like elite edges is exclusive to the defenseman. What the fuck?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And there's some other stuff that are in there. For some reason, I can have fucking skilled up as a defenseman. Like I'm not gonna see Kale McCarr hitting a fucking Michigan. Like that's
Not
not
with
gonna
that
happen.
attitude.
Yeah.
Actually, didn't he
And
score
like
a Michigan? Someone's
I'm
gonna be like,
going back and
actually, he scored a Michigan last year or something like that.
oh my god.
Um, yeah.
Like it just makes no sense. Like one more thing too is I'm playing NHL 20 be a pro just because I can play in the fucking minors. Like I'm not sure, you probably saw like last night on stream. I was playing like I was up until like 8 a.m. playing NHL 20 be a pro because I could go through the CHL like several years over. I can start as like an exceptional status player at 15 and just go through. Like I miss that. I don't have any story dialogues popping up. I can create my own narrative. It's just insane that fucking 3 years, like 3, 4 years after, they had a perfect system in there. They haven't touched it or done anything to it whatsoever. Just give us a slider or a prompt that says, hey, I want to turn off all coach agent notifications, There's so many small changes they can make in the game that would just add so much longevity. It's not even like a big thing. Like it's something you can put out an update when you put out crossplay, but God forbid that's not going to work. Jesus, you can talk
I'm
now.
just I'm just sad now.
Yeah,
I'm just sad. That tweet, by the way, had almost 700 or over 700 likes with almost 57,000 impressions. Um,
damn.
i.e., yeah, negative sentiment within the community is what gets passed around because that's what people are feeling right now in regards to NHL 23, which has been out officially for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Um,
Yeah, like we've
yeah,
both had copies for 2 weeks. I mean, obviously, clappy bless, but yeah, we've had it 2 weeks now. The game's been up like a week and a half, but it's just these issues should not have been this bad. But that's game development. When you have an indie team that gets pulled out to work on other projects down the hall with FIFA, that's what happens.
that's baseball, as they say.
That's that's
would you
baseball, baby.
believe? Would you believe we had no plans at all to talk about NHL 23?
Yeah, it's just off the cuff. Just
Oh, God,
and
just a nice therapy session, basically.
I feel bad for you guys, like you, Henrik, Sleeves, Thrash. Who else am I thinking of? Like other guys who just, like this is your. Like, I wouldn't say this is bread and butter, but like this is the one franchise that you guys really care about the most, and
Mhm.
it's just been like a toddler just drop kick. Like, I don't kick the
Like a
baby, kick the baby.
toddler drop kick. Please
Yeah.
elaborate.
It feels like that scene in
We
South
have an
Park where it's
episode
like,
title, by the way.
"Don't kick the baby," and it's like,
No, toddler drop
I,
kick. The newest
yeah,
punk band.
it's just like that. I just feel like um EA is like, all right, I time to kick the baby, and all the content creators like, don't kick the baby, and then just fucking punt it, and it's just like, and when they punt, it's the video of No Sleeves having people who are essentially T posing on the ice, skiing around. Have you seen that?
Mhm. Yes. Yes, I have.
Yes. Yeah.
God.
The devs are great people though. They're really great people. But just, man,
People are
I
going to
feel
read
bad.
into that sigh, and that wasn't a sigh in regards to the people. That was just a sigh into the game itself that makes me
Yeah,
so sad.
very sad.
I mean, I mentioned the players with incorrect height and weights. You're not allowed to fix that as a roster
Yep.
editor. Um, real life players' heights and weights is a locked setting that you cannot update. So, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I don't understand because in FIFA you can change. In FIFA I believe you can change it. Madden you can change it. I know Madden 100% you can make like Kyler Murray like 6'8", like 400 pounds.
NBA is the best example where you can just do whatever the fuck you want. And it's awesome.
Oh my god. The PC mods where like all the bodies are stretched apart and everything, just dunking on people.
The
Jeez.
Monsters,
Yeah. NBA just they're like, you know what? Have your fun with it. Yeah.
basically,
Hmm.
basically, and it's very nice of them to do that. Whereas with NHL, I can't make someone their proper height.
Hmm.
So yeah, I get asked multiple times a day, today included, like, "Hey, when are you roster editing? Do you have like an ETA for when it's done?" I haven't started, and I don't know if I will. Um, it's supposed to be this big time a year for me, and as valid of complaints as the likes of No Slave, Thrash, Henrik, all those guys that focus on Ultimate Team, as valid as their complaints are, they at least still have options for content. People like myself, Tactics HD, Snipe and Score Productions, Sin for the win. We have to sit here and navigate these hurdles to try and make something work. Whereas at the very least, for the other guys with Ultimate Team, you can be like, oh, sick new content drop, opening packs, and you're still going to be fine.
Hmm.
You know, you can still, as much as people despise it, you can still do a pack opening with the fucking Home Alone face on the
Oh my
thumbnail,
god.
and it's still gonna get views. Like, they're okay. They're gonna be fine. It's people that do anything be a pro or franchise related that are just fucked unless you are. I mean, shit, is Nasher even doing? Let me check this. Is Nasher even doing a be a pro
He is.
this year?
He put out a video addressing like Via Pro and how it hasn't changed apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, power to him. I mean, when you're like the biggest, like no brainer, he's
Yeah,
the
like he's
biggest
still
guy in the
doing a be a
community.
pro and he'll still
Yeah.
crush it on that. Um,
Mhm.
let's take a look here. NHL 23 be a pro. Let's see. I don't know who Brett Barrett is. Apparently, he's a very
Oh,
good
TD
guy.
Barrett. He's a big Madden guy.
Okay, so he's doing
Yeah.
something be a pro related, so he's doing okay. But case in point, not an NHL guy. He's a Madden guy with 142,000 subs. He's doing okay. Um, Oh, cool. So I searched Be a Pro. It's two Brett Barrett videos, a Nasher video, and then the fourth video is from someone called DNA Network with 53,000 views. NHL 23 is a huge letdown. Don't buy.
Yep.
That's the fourth video that pops up when you search NHL 23 Be a Pro, at least for me. Um,
They optimize their SEO completely. Hats off to them.
holy
Holy shit.
shit.
Yeah.
Um, it looks like 2BC did one episode of a Be a Pro a week ago and
Yeah.
hasn't done much since. Um, You know, there's another guy doing a Be a Pro. Let's shout out DMAC26. Good for him. Looks like he does a good amount of Be a Pro content. Unfortunately, beyond the first video, it drops off heavily. So basically, unless you are, check him out though. Support people who do Be a Pro stuff. So
Yep.
basically, unless you are from the outside looking in or a bigger YouTuber, then yeah, you'll be lucky to get couple thousand. Something like Fin for the Win still does pretty well on Beer Pro stuff, but for the most part, like that's a low fucking ceiling
Yeah.
compared to other options. So fun, fun times. 20 minutes of just giving out about HL 23.
And you know what's funny we didn't mention? Our beautiful sponsors over at Manscaped. We did not mention our beautiful sponsor because we were just talking about NHL so much. They won't mind. They
No,
won't mind. They won't
no,
mind.
they're
You
cool
know,
and they're
use
good.
promo code Tougie. Yeah. For
They're
20%
they're
off and
cool
free
and they're good at
worldwide shipping.
keeping you cool. You know.
Exactly. I just put this on. You know, the spherical deodorant, the meme of the channel. Aside from us being completely nihilistic and numb to the fact that our futures in the community with NHL are kind of in the window of, maybe I don't want to do this anymore because, no support. But the 23 hours of NHL was pretty cool. Yeah.
Hmm,
Roster running?
yeah.
No. 23 hours of chill with the
If
different
they were smart, they
streamers.
would have called it Coachella, but no.
No. Oh
God damn it.
Oh, there was the phlegm coming up again. Oh boy,
Oh goodness.
that's a good one. That's
Thank you. See,
that's a
I'm
good
just
one.
saying, I got a litany of ideas that I'm just not allowed to fully express myself right now, and it sucks.
Yeah,
Also, you said spherical, and all I can ever think of is the game Sphere from Drake and
yeah.
Josh.
That's exactly what I was referencing every time I say it.
Every time, it's spherical. God damn it. But yeah, shout
Miracle.
out to Manscaped. As always, like I said, do a good job keeping you cool by shaving off your hair, head to toe. Reject eyebrows. Embrace monkey. Which would be the opposite if you think about it. Code Tougie at checkout, 20% off your order, free shipping. Manscaped.com. Get the best tools for the job and tell them we sent you because we normally don't tell you about them 24 minutes into a podcast, but
I mean,
here we are.
2K24, right? So
Yeah, Tougie 24 minutes. Shave your sack. Manscaped.com. Code Tougie. Tougie. Yeah. Um God, I feel like we should just keep talking about NHL 23. It could be the entire show.
it could be. Oh
I
man.
feel like we'd be redundant at this point, though. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
think we've said most of that we've had to say. I mean, I only got 5 of my 10 loyalty packs, even though I've had the game for 3 years straight, and I've been a
hmm,
content creator for those 3 years. I'm not even mad. I don't even give a fuck. I got a base card Ben and a base card Lucic or Lucic. Um,
Milan Lusic.
yeah, this is what they cried about so much. It was like, we need our loyalty packs. Like, you're not gonna get anything. Oh, like 5 guys got a McDavid, or like you guys got a Marner. Like the odds for a loyalty pack are so low. It's just they're just fodder, so that way you can build up and do rerolls. And like at
Yeah.
the launch of the game, rerolls are already locked after, excuse me, like an hour. Whereas like if it's like March, April, like there's no timer on the rerolls, so you can just go through again. Like I don't want to keep talking. I don't want to keep talking about NHL because this is like turning more into like a coffee and chill episode where we just keep talking about it. No offense to Sleeves and Kessel, but yeah.
Hey, I respect the ability to talk about the state of NHL 23 on every podcast without wanting to slam your head on your desk and
Oh my god!
take a
Don't
nice
even get me
nap.
started.
You know,
Don't even get me
I respect it.
started. Yeah, it's commendable. It is, and it's insane.
Yeah. So NHL 23, not a very fun time at the moment. What is a fun time is talking about real hockey, kind of. We'll get into that at the end of this show. There's a certain talking point that we'll bring up. But we want to get to viewer questions first and foremost, as we always do. Of course, again, the link to the Discord is in the description, whether or not you are listening or watching this particular podcast. First question comes up from who else would it be? One Scroopy Noobers. Who's your favorite player on your co-host's favorite NHL team? So I don't know if we have to answer for the Sharks because Sin didn't show up, but Endo Mills, who is your favorite Boston Bruin?
Andrew Raycroft.
Correct answer. My favorite Toronto Maple Leaf is Tuukka Rask.
I'm pretty sure they knew how this was gonna go down anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah. My favorite Sharks player though, probably Tomas Hertl.
Yeah, that's mine is Luke Kunin.
Luke Kunin. Why Kunin?
No. No, I'm joking. It's just because he's Sin's favorite player. God, my
James
favorite.
Reimer.
Yeah, my favorite Shark is James Reimer. That is correct. 100% my favorite Shark is James Reimer.
Oh
My
man.
favorite Leaf. Ooh, my favorite Leaf.
You know what's crazy? I just realized something.
Hmm.
We all have one player who's played for all three of our favorite teams.
Do we?
Jumbo Joe.
Oh yeah, look at that. I thought you meant current. I'm like, who the fuck is on
Oh
the
no
current
no no
Leafs
no
that
no.
play for the Bruins? But yeah, I mean Patrick Marleau. Come to the Bruins. We'll get two.
Get one more game.
God, my favorite Leaf. I do ironically own two John Tavares jerseys, but they're both
Two?
Islanders jerseys.
Oh.
um, yeah, I mean Tavares, Simmons. Yeah, I'd probably go for John Tavares.
Like, are we talking like history or like just like current
I think
active?
current is what he meant.
Okay.
So, your
Um.
favorite current Boston Bruin, and why is it Brad Marchand?
Honestly, he's still that one player you'd want to have on your team. You'd hate for him to be on
Mhm,
another team, but you want him on your team. Like him and like Tom Wilson are in that same boat.
it's true.
I was gonna say I've been looking at a lot of highlights and a lot of plays. Is it weird to say AJ Grier? Not because he was in your
No.
chat, but like I've just been watching like the way he plays and like his style and the whole him like taking that unconditional route to the NHL. And honestly, big fan. I'm a big fan of the working man, the working class NHLer who like builds their way up.
Mm, yeah, no, AJ is a good guy.
Yeah.
Talk about one of the lone reasons I might play NHL is to get into an EASHL group with current Boston Bruin AJ Greer, who I
Hmm.
played a couple versus games with a couple years ago when he was on the Colorado Eagles. So
Yeah. Did
he's
he
a good
win
dude.
the Kelly Cup with them or was that like before or
I
after?
don't know. my paying attention to the AHL cuts off pretty much once the Portland Pirates were relocated.
Oh, so that was probably when they moved from so he's probably on that roster. Let me check. Because they got promoted from it was weird. They got promoted from the ECHL to the AHL because they were that good.
I feel like there were a couple of teams that came up from the E up to the A,
Uh,
because there was the AHL has changed a lot in the past decade. So,
yeah.
um, regardless, though, it kind of brings us to our second question, which is from Steel Devil. We'll have a third one, but I moved it to later on in the show. Steel Devil, your favorite obscure hockey moment that only you will actually remember. Um, and just the term obscure hockey moment, just it doesn't have to be like defined moment, right? I
Yeah.
mean, talking about the AHL, like it's not something only I'd remember, but it's something very few people would remember. Was I went to a lovely game between the Portland Pirates and the at the time Worcester Sharks, and there was a shitload of penalty minutes, and I was sitting right next to the visitors' penalty box for that game, and
How old were you?
mm, 18, 19.
Okay. So you weren't like
And
a child.
yeah, we had fun chirping people, me and my friends who weren't happy. There you go. It's my favorite obscure moment
There you go.
is pushing the limit to nearly rightfully getting our asses kicked. But,
God, how bad was the chirping? Holy.
I wasn't that bad. It was just more annoying than like offensive or anything like that.
Man.
To
Let me
define
see.
annoying, we went to a Pirates game one time. They played the Providence Bruins. I had worn a Bruins jersey to that game. Portland won, which was good. Loved going to Portland and Providence games because like I don't really care who wins or loses because like whatever, they're my two favorite teams. And we must have been 17 or 18, and one of my friends brought the sound of South Africa in 2010, the vuvuzela,
Oh my.
to the game. So
That's that's
we're
the Vuvuzela. Holy shit.
after the game, we're in the concourse, and the Pirates mascot walks up to me in my Bruins jersey and starts kind of taunting over the fact that, there was a victory for Portland. What the mascot did not see, for the record, there were two mascots for the Portland Pirates. There was a parrot named Crackers
Of
and
course.
Salty Pete, the Pirates. And we're talking about old Salty Pete. What he did not see was my friend's Vuvuzela, as my friend snuck up behind him and blew the horn. And greatest moment, not only did the person jump, but they slowly lifted their head in pure anger. Not like the head of the mascot, but like you could tell like their head was down and they raised their head just enough. It's a moment in time, it's magical that the lighting allowed me to see their eyes through the mesh of
Oh
the
my god.
mask, and I saw pure unbridled rage where I could tell this person was trying to decide whether or not it was worth to have to go to prison for an assault of a potential minor. I think again we were 17 at the time. In
Oh my
fairness,
god.
I don't think he would have been found guilty. It would have been justified. But just getting to see, I can see his face when I just look off into the distance now, of getting just the clear look at this guy's blue eyes of
Oh god.
am I at my breaking point? How am I going to handle this?
Your friend probably had the biggest shit eating grin on too. He's like, "Brr," and just looks at him like that. He's like,
Salty Pete turned around, patted my friend on the shoulder, and walked away. And to Salty Pete, wherever you are now, I'm sorry.
your friend was about to get salty beat. Jesus Christ. Oh my
Holy
god, that's
shit.
crazy.
That is my favorite obscure hockey moment.
That is something else.
Mm,
Oh my god.
dumb kids, man. Dumb kids.
Trying to figure out what's my like hockey moment. I remember when this is like maybe like 2008, 2009 when like Luongo was with not 2009, probably like 11, 12, 13 or whatever. Luongo was just going to play with the Panthers, and he got hurt. I think it was Al Montoya also got hurt. So then fucking 50-year-old Rob Tallis, like the goalie coach at the time, is like fully kitted up, ready to go back, ready to go into the game. And then like Luongo's like, no, don't. This is an embarrassment. I'm gonna go back in. That's the only thing I remember. There's probably another thing I remember, but I haven't really had anything obscure. Um,
That's fair.
well, I
Not
mean, I did have
necessarily
that
need any.
hockey fight, but we talked about that like last week. So
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, the hockey fight
yeah,
at the rink, yeah.
come on, bro,
God.
let's go. And he just fucking swag walks and slaps him in the fucking right on the
Just go
temple.
full Conor McGregor into the octagon arm swing.
Pretty much, it was something else. I still can't get over like it was like my buddy was filling up water bottles, right?
Mhm.
And like I keep bringing it up. And he comes out and he's got like 3 bottles of water like filled up. And then like the buddy, I didn't say this, but the buddy asks him like, "Hey, yo, top me up." He puts water in, and then he goes into the fight, and he keeps going. It's so stupid. It was
Mhm.
like D League hockey. It wasn't even like it's not even like good. It's like hockey, but it's not like good hockey.
Mm.
Like I'm not gonna sit on a high horse and say I play A-level beer league, but like
You do?
guys that we play with are like coming like off of like U Sports kind of.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So, again, those are our first 2 questions. We'll get to our third one here in a little bit. Before that, though, want to recap some of the things that happened game wise over the past couple days since our last show. Mainly because Thursday night, the night of our last show, the Boston Bruins beat the Anaheim Ducks 2-1 in a shootout because Linus Allmark is a hero.
Yeah.
And the Bruins number 1. I am very happy with how well he has played. Given that you're like, well, he's coming from Buffalo, just how good will he be? But no, he's lived up to the hype so far. And in terms of like a Tuukka Rask, like who possibly takes the reins from Tuukka Rask? He's doing pretty well for himself so far. Not the only time we'll talk about Bruins goaltending. Montreal beat Arizona 6-2 last Thursday. Cole Caulfield scored his 4th. Uri Slavkovsky scored his first NHL goal. But the highlight of this game, Endo, I'm sure you saw the fight. Arbor Jackeye just feeding Zach Cassian his lunch.
Oh my god. Oh man.
This is the type of player that the Habs needed. You know, odds are they're going to be bad this year, but to get a kid like this into the lineup that can just, provide those sparks of joy by punching people in the mouth. That's what they needed. That's what they needed.
Yeah. So the best part about like the whole Arbor Jackeye thing isn't the fact that everyone's going off of the whole like he used to work at Costco and now he's like serving up samples of his hands. The whole narrative behind Jackeye as if the guy's never played hockey before in his life. He went a point per game in the playoffs this year in the OHL.
Mhm.
And was basically a point per game when he was with Hamilton. He's been invited several times beforehand to go to different camps with the Montreal Canadiens. So it's not as if people didn't have eyes on him entirely.
Right.
But just everyone's like, yeah, Costco, throwing hands. Like the dude was like 19. You don't make a
Mhm.
lot of money when you play in the OHL. So you're going to
Right.
have to find like a part time job. And
Mhm.
it just so happened that Costco was hiring and he hired him. Like, don't you think it's kind of weird how they're really fixated on the whole Costco thing?
Yeah, because it undermines the fact that, like you said, he played in junior. But
Yeah. And he was voted all team. What was it? Let me pull up his fucking. You can continue while I pull it up.
yeah, I mean, it's just it is that idea of people just being like, he's the everyman, and it's like, well, no, not really, right? Like this isn't a David Ayers Zamboni driver thing. This isn't an e-bug who's an accountant, stepping up and doing what has been done in the NHL. It's like, no, this is a prospect. This is a, like you said, a kid who is working a job.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So last year in his awards for the, I'll save this the third one for the last, but for last year's awards, just for himself, were the CHL Memorial Cup All Star Team nomination. He was nominated for the OHL Third All Star Team, which is pretty good as an overager. He won the OHL championship with Hamilton Bulldogs, and he was the OHL's most penalized player with 138 penalties. He was famous when he was playing with the Kitchener Rangers. I believe it was Kitchener. Yes, for knocking someone out and then doing the sleep thing, which got him a suspension for I think it was like 10 games. We talked about
Hmm.
it on the podcast at length, I think. And I
Yeah,
was
we
like,
mentioned it
I was
for
like, how
sure.
the fuck do you pronounce his name? It's just like Jikai, and then like Sim was like, yeah, it's Jack Eye. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Every Habs fan since just waiting
Yeah.
for someone to mispronounce his name so that they can bring it up. It's the best.
It's Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. Free Wi-Fi. The Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Dallas Stars 3-2 in overtime on Thursday. Nick Robertson with 2 goals, including, I believe, the overtime winner. And needless to say, Leafs fans hyped up about Nick
Nick
Robertson and
Robertson's
the
a
Battle of the
defenseman?
Robertsons.
Yeah, Nick Robertson's a defenseman apparently because he made a great play. One thing about
See,
Robertson,
everyone
Nick.
said Steve Dangle was wrong. He's not. You know, when Steve called him a defenseman 3 years ago, he was just predicting the future.
Hmm.
Yeah.
His two-way game has been massively improved before. I think that was the one thing that held him back. And then like his knee injury, that's another thing that kind of held him back because you can't really skate without your knees. I mean, I tried. I was on the IR for like a month. But yeah, his two-way game's got a lot better. Defensively, he's a lot more sound. You can go talk to Jay Fresh and figure out his like analytics platform and everything, but so far he's taken that chance, his opportunity, and he's taken it. Palm sweaty, knees weak, arms spaghetti. Another thing too is I saw a post about the Toronto Maple Leafs and how like Samsonov is like, yeah, he's becoming the starter. It's like he's just making the good of a bad situation. Samsonov is essentially had to like figure out if he was gonna be not if he was gonna be a good goalie or not, but like he was like with the Caps, he was like second. He was like the backup goalie there, but even then he was kind of like a third string. And for him to get the roles with the Leafs, it's good to see, but I want to see longevity and see how he does over an entire season because Leafs fans are flippity floppity. We lost
I
two
mean,
games, and they're like, "Oh, we deserve to be like." I think the Leaf mentality is if you aren't in first place, you are not good enough. And right now they're like
mm,
in third in the entire league while being 6-2-0.
yeah, I mean, Samsonov specifically 4-0 on the year with a 938 save percentage.
Yeah.
Good start. Is it sustainable? Is the
Yeah.
question. And I hope for his sake it is, because otherwise, yeah, people are going to be rather harsh, aren't they?
Very.
Rather harsh. Worth noting as well, Tyler Sagan got a second of the season in that game. Word came out today that Sagan was considering retiring back in January of 2021 because of injuries. So nice to see that he is obviously back closer to 100%. There was a lot of talk when he came back and was clearly still injured. And it's just like, okay, what are you necessarily doing? He's been off to a good start. The Stars in general have been off to a very, very good start this season. So,
Mhm.
it just took their owner calling out Sagan and Ben for the 12th time for it to finally kind of kick in, and now everything's looking good for Dallas. There you go. God, Columbus beat Nashville 5-3. Johnny Gaudreau had a 2-goal game, third and fourth of the year. So I mean, he's fitting in well. The Blue Jackets have bounced back, I believe, after starting the season 0-3. The Sharks, much to Sin's chagrin, picked up their first win of the season, 3-2 in overtime over the Rangers. Eric Carlson scored. That's like 5 points in 6 games so far this year. Eric Carlson, and indeed again, the Sharks' first win of the year. Turns out they were not the final team to get their first win. We'll talk about that later because there's one team that still hasn't won. Because of course. Oh yeah, that's a big section coming up at the end. It has to be.
Oh yeah, that's a mess. Just
Yep.
entirely it's a mess.
Yeah. Sens beat the Caps. Drake Batherson had a 2-goal game. He's got 3 in the year. Alex DeBrincat scored his first for the Sens. It honestly took him a little bit longer to get that first goal. I'm sure some Hawks fans are already just like, haha, how good is he without Patrick Kane? Haha. And it's like, yeah, well, we'll see. It's early on. It's early on. The Devils beat the Islanders 4-1. Jack Hughes finally got his first of the year. Andre Palat, second and third of the season. Mackenzie Blackwood was named one of the 3 stars of the week by the NHL. 3-0-0 over the past week. The Devils bouncing back again after a rough start. This is going to be a theme as to, hey, let's calm the hell down and not overreact to the first 3, 4, 5, 6 games of a season. It's early. Brings us to the Wild beating the Canucks. Zuccarello had a 2-goal game. Kaprizov scored his 4th of the season already for the OT winner. But Horvat also has 4 on the year after that game. The Wild still towards the bottom of the standings, and the other team, well, you've gotten the hint already. You've gotten the hint. Worth noting too, Oilers over the Canes in an '06 Cup final rematch. McDavid's 5th of the year, but Andrei Svechnikov, the inferior Svechnikov, with a hat trick, 6 goals on the year at that point in that game alone. I don't think I ever called Andrei Svechnikov terrible, but he might be living up to that hype a little bit more. The guy's, should hit 30 goals in his sleep this year.
Yeah.
Sabres beat the Flames 6-3. Alex Tuck with the hat trick, 5 goals on the year. I don't know why he wasn't named captain. I get Okposo, but he seems to be the heart and soul of that team, although you could argue it's Rasmus Dahlin, who scored his 4th of the year in this game. He was also named one of the NHL stars of the week with 3 goals, 2 assists in 3 games played. Has also scored, at least up to that point, in 5 straight games. I cannot go a day basically without having a Sabres fan just be like, have you seen what Rasmus Dahlin's doing? A friend of the show, the Big Schnoz of Twitch fame, constantly sending me Rasmus Dahlin gifts on Discord. He just can't help himself. But, I will say it's nice to see Sabres fans actually excited and not downtrodden, because what was it, last year that they're like, oh, cool, we had an alumni type of deal, like a pregame presentation, and we had like knockoff Chinese jerseys and someone's name was spelled incorrectly on the back of the jersey. That was only like a year ago too. I forget whose name was spelled wrong on the back of the jersey, but
Wait, wait,
that
wait, wait, wait. Hold on. Wait,
hmm,
when was this? I completely blacked out for a second. Sorry about that.
this was a year ago, maybe 2. Let's see. Sabres alumni misspelled jersey. It's an autofill. Sabres alum Robitaille on his name being misspelled.
Oh
This
no.
appears to be from Okay, so it's 2 years ago, March 9th of 2020.
Okay.
If you went to Sabres 90s night, you might have noticed some former players were wearing jerseys with their names misspelled. Mike Robitaille and Dave Andrechuk were 2 of them. Oh God. And
Jeez.
now instead they get to be hyped about Rasmus Dahlin and some other things. It's pretty nice. I'll give them that.
I mean, it's not the
Fine.
first time they've misspelled a jersey name, because I think when they were with the Bruins, they misspelled Leonard when Robin Leonard was with the Bruins with the Sabres. I think
I
it was
mean,
there.
probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Final thing
Uh.
for Thursday. Knights over the Jets. 2 goals for Jack Eichel. So see, both the Sabres and Jack Eichel both having nice things at the moment. Who would have guessed that split would work out as well as it has for both sides? I mean, I guess you could say it didn't work out too well for Vegas. They didn't make the playoffs last year, but give it time. Give it time. Friday.
Oh,
What do you got?
it was his Masterson trophy that was
Oof.
misspelled.
How do you misspell a name for a trophy?
I mean, they also misspelled, and then the Blackhawks also misspelled Flurry on their jerseys that from a while ago.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, Fleury.
Blue.
That's what they spelled it. Yeah, Fluery.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, continue on.
Yeah, Friday. Only wanted to talk about one of the games that happened. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about everything. But the Lightning beat the Panthers 3-2 in overtime. Steven Stamkos got his 7th of the season in terms of goals already. He has been unbelievable. And Braden Point had 2 goals. But it led to the graphic that was brought up about Steven Stamkos leading the 2008 NHL draft class in points by a large margin, by the way. Number one is Steven Stamkos at the time of this graphic being posted, and still to this point here. It's a little bit updated, but Steven Stamkos leads the way in that '08 draft class as the first overall pick with 981 points. In second is Eric Carlson with 666. Jordan Eberle third with 599 points. John Carlson with 598, and then Drew Doughty with 570. Three of the top five scorers from that '08 draft class are defensemen. That's the surprise to me. Not that Steven Stamkos is amazing. We knew that. And it's a shame he's
Yeah.
missed the time that he has due to injury in his career. Jordan Eberle, rather underrated, about to hit 600 career points. But it's kind of surprising because in general, let's see here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have half of the top 10 in terms of points from that draft class are defensemen. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that's got to be rather uncommon. The rest of it is Josh Bailey at 6. Then you got Yossi, Petrangelo, and then Derek Stepan and Cam Atkinson to round it out. But just think about that. That '08 draft class, Carlson, Doughty, Yossi, Petrangelo. That's a fucking dynamite defensive class. Not to mention outside the top 10, Jared Spurgeon, Tyler Myers, TJ Brody, the legend known as Jake Gardner. That was a damn good draft class for defensemen. So it's funny because I saw
Mhm.
that graphic. I'm like, oh yeah, shit, Steven Stamkos is great. And then you start to look up that class. It's like, holy shit, the defenseman though.
Yeah. That was a pretty good year, just in general.
I think that's an underrated draft class. I mean, you look back at the top of the draft and it's a little bit weird, right? Like you had Zach Bogosian third overall. That was the year Luke Shen went fifth to the Leafs. Um, Nikita Filatov, Colin Wilson were 6 and 7. Cody Hodgson was 10th. Kyle
Mhm.
Beach at 11. Um, Colton Tubert went 13th that year. Zach Boychuk 14th. The Bruins took Joel Colborn. Like that first round, you look at that and it's like, boy, that was a pretty shit draft. But then you
Mhm.
look at the picks later on in those later rounds, and you're like, oh, okay, it actually rebounded. It rebounded pretty well. I mean, it's crazy enough. Like, Yossi was second round, Stepan, Atkinson went 157. Like, you're not going to see too many first round picks when you sort that draft class by outright points. So, like I said, I don't know how much of like a rarity that is for defensemen to be that high up on a scoring list for a particular draft class, but thought it was interesting at the very least. Saturday, the Bruins beat the Minnesota Wild 4-3 in overtime. Nick Foligno. Now look, AJ Grier, by the way, they scratched my boy. That can't happen. The problem is, you got people like Nick Foligno who are actually stepping up a little bit. He scored his third goal of the season already in this game. Look, I'm not going to complain if Nick Foligno's not cooked because it looked like he was going to be. Nick Foligno. Endo, can you guess what Nick Foligno's goal total was from last season?
Um,
64 games played.
15 goals.
Close. 2. 64 games played, 2 goals, 11 assists. His shooting percentage, hilariously enough, was 2% on the dot.
Oh, oh my god. Oh my
Meaning if he took 100 shots last year, 2 of them went in.
Oh,
So far this season, again, last year, 2 goals in 64 games. He has 3 goals in 6 so far this year.
what's his shooting
Hockey's a weird
percentage?
sport, man. Hockey is a very weird sport. I hope that Nick Foligno at 34 years old is finding that kind of resurgence. He's actually going to turn 25 in a week, or 35 in a week. Excuse me. I
Mhm.
was going to say today's the 24th. His birthday's on October 31st. So here's hoping for the Nick Foligno turnaround. David Pasternak still crushing it too. He's going to get paid so much fucking money. Remember how we talked about on Thursday that the cap might be going up by like 4 million? Yeah, we better hope
Yep.
so as Bruins fans. That the cap actually does go up because oh my god, all that money's going straight to him. The Blues beat the Oilers, shut them out 2-0. Binnington with the shutout. Blues are 3-0 to start the season. Only played 3 games, which is very weird. I was meaning to ask Blues fans why their schedule is so fucking ridiculous, but they're 3-0 so far. Damn good start for St. Louis. Uh, Sens beat the Coyotes. Shout out to Shane Pinto, 4 goals on the year at that point. Josh Norris finally got his first. Brady Tkachuk with his third and fourth led Brady to being named the other of the 3 stars of the week with 7 points in 3 games over last week. So he has been very, very good. Leafs beat the Jets. My favorite Leaf, John Tavares, with the second and third of the season.
Oh,
Way to go,
I was
JT.
gonna play a clip real quick. Just the Pinto. Shane Pinto Bean. Pinto Bean. Pinto Bean. Pinto Bean. Pinto Bean. Pinto Bean.
I like that you
There
can
we
hear
go.
yourself get up out of the chair.
You know what's funny? People think I got out of the chair. I just spun around.
Oh, okay. That makes
It
sense.
just sounds like it.
It does sound like you just like got up out of the room and just started parading around your office.
I think that's the best part about it too.
It's beautiful. Stars beat the Habs 5-2. Joe Pavelski with a hat trick. He's got 4 goals on the year. Stars, like I said, doing well. 4-0-1 to start the year. For the Habs, only real positive was that Arbor Jacki got his first NHL goal. We're going to be
Yay.
talking about him all goddamn season long, aren't we? Like all season long. It's going to be all Arbor all the time when talking about the Habs.
The
God, Flyers
lumberman.
beat the Preds
The
3-1.
woodworker.
Hart, yeah. Brings his lunch pail to work. He doesn't even bring a lunch box. He just brings a bucket and devours his food like he devours his prey. Arbor Jacki, baby. Goddamn. Flyers beat the Preds to continue their hot start to the year. Mark Borowiecki, they'll get injured in that game. Stretch it out. Best wishes to him. You never like to see that. Sabres beat the Canucks 5-1. Darlene's 5th, Tuck's 6th, Olafson with 2 goals. The Sabres are 4-1-0 to start the year, and we'll talk about Vancouver in a second.
Yeah. That's Vancouver was just oof.
We'll talk about him. Save it. We'll talk about him.
Oof.
Avs beat the Golden Knights. To the guy that said my rosters suck because I had Valeri Nichushkin as a 90 overall. He already has 6 goals on the year. Suck my entire dick. Great offensive player and an elite defensive player as well. Valeri Nichushkin, just because you don't think he has star power in his name doesn't mean that he's not actually a star. Suck a fat one. And you're right that he's not a star. He's on the Avalanche. And the final thing that I want to know from Saturday. Flames beat the Canes. Dan Vladar gets a new contract in Calgary. 2 years, 2.2 million starting next year, which is a decent deal for him. Hoping he does well. That said, the Bruins did do the right thing in letting him go instead of running with Swayman and Vladar. I think that would have aged pretty poorly. Bringing in Allmark was the right decision. So I'm good with where the Bruins goaltending is right now, but still rooting for one Darth Vladar because come on, former Bruin, gotta cheer him on.
Exactly.
Couple quick notes about Sunday, then we'll get to the big talking point here. Chicago beat Seattle on Sunday night. They're 3-2-0 to start the year, so good for Chicago. You're not complete trash, just mostly. The Red Wings spanked the Ducks 5-1. Anaheim are 1-4-1 to start the year. Ouch. Is
Yeah.
my best way to describe that. They did very well at the start of last season and then fell off. And now this year they're just trash to start the year. Let's do my 90 overall in NHL 23 John Gibson save percentage update brought to you by Geico. Where Gibson through 5 games is actually up to an 893. Crushing it. Way to go.
I
Absolutely
picked
crushing
the worst goalies for my fantasy.
it. Oh God, is he on your fantasy team?
Take a wild guess at who my 3 goalies are.
Ooh. Okay. Okay, hold on. I could have fun with this. Your three goalies
Yep.
that are really struggling. Oh man, that's God. I'm trying to think of basically who the bad teams are. Demko.
Yep.
Yep, Demko's up there. And God, who else is at the bottom of the stand? Flurry?
No.
Not Flurry. You wouldn't have taken an Arizona goalie.
No comment.
Did you take Vamelka?
Yeah, it's like Punch Belka.
Oh my
I
god.
have a great team on offense. I will go through this right now. I will tell you what my team is. All right, so you'll see how fucking stupid my lineup is. All
Mm-hmm.
right, hold on, let me go. So I have Nazem Kadri,
Mm-hmm.
Bo Horvat, Andrew Mangiapane, Michael Bunting, Matt Duchene, Drake Batherson, Kale McCarr, Miro Heiskanen, um, all Owen Power, Mark Giordano, Anze Kopitar, Johnny Gaudreau, Ryan Hartman, and Gabriel Landeskog.
Mm-hmm.
And my three fucking goalies are Vegmelka, Demko, and Gibson.
The three starting goalies on currently the three worst teams in the NHL.
Yeah.
The rest of that lineup should honestly win you your fantasy league.
It
And then you
will.
have all three of those goalies just tragic.
In my first week, out of a possible 288, I had 284.
Mm-hmm.
And then my buddy, no, I was projecting at 288 and I got 284. And then Steel Devil, who is also in this league, this is Deke's fantasy league, and one Deke Slayer. His projected was 323 and at 365. What the fuck? He had Bergeron, Trocheck, Kempe, Huberto, Tuck, Lafreniere, Morrissey, Barry, Hedman, Slavin, Markstrom, Georgiev. And then he had on his bench Lehkonen, Tays, Bratt, Wilson, Line, Saros, and Norris. He had Saros. That saved his.
Yeah,
It's
Saros would
like,
do that to you.
you know
One
what's
good
funny?
goalie is all it takes.
He was
The
right
Toronto
before me and he
Maple
picked
Leafs
Saros.
story.
He picked Saros right before me and I'm so pissed at him. I'm gonna fight him.
It's a rough scene.
Yeah.
Real rough scene. Anyway, the Ducks, terrible
Fuck
so
you,
far
Steel.
this year. Panthers beat the Islanders. Only real notable for the Islanders. I mean, Anders Lee scored his third and fourth of the year. The Islanders are off to a pretty slow start again.
Yep.
But Eric Stahl is back in the NHL. He signed with the Florida Panthers, 1 year league min. We kind of, Sin mentioned it on the prior show about like, oh, Florida, what did you do? Kind of had a rough season, rough off
Yeah.
season. And yeah, you are, I mean, shit, you got Mark, you got Eric. See what it would take to get Jordan from Carolina, Jared out of retirement, and it's all good.
You know what's funny about Jared Stahl? Like
Isn't
obviously
he
he's
a coach
retired.
now?
I don't think so. I can check his player profile. Hold on.
Pretty
Team
sure he's
staff
coaching with
profile.
like the Chicago Wolves or something like that.
He's with the Charlotte Checkers of the AHL. So he's with Carolina in their system. I think for a while. Let me figure this out here. So it was player, team staff. Yeah, for a good period of time between 2017 and 2016 17 and the 18-19 season, he was doing just like lawn care stuff, like with his family business. Like just dropped hockey and was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. Oh, I got a coaching job with the what is it? I think it was like the U15 Edmonton U15 prep. And then 2019 he got a job with the Solar Bears of Orlando, formerly of Toronto Maple Leaf Association. Now they're
Hmm.
with Florida, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't think so. Hold on, let me double check this.
The moral of the story is good for Jared Stahl.
Yes.
Good for Jared. And good for Eric, honestly. It was looking like he was lining up for a rather like unceremonious end to his career where it's just like, yeah, he just kind of fizzled out and that was it. Probably sign a 1-day contract with the Canes to retire as a Cane and maybe probably get his number retired by that organization. And then that's it. but he's got one more shot at the very least with the Panthers. So happy for him. Still very, very much wondering what the Florida Panthers game plan is, if they even have one, because I don't know if they do. I really don't. So,
Also, correction: the Orlando Solar Bears are associated with the Tampa Bay Lightning. The
mm,
Florida Everglades are associated with the Florida Panthers. My bad.
makes sense.
Yes.
Last game to talk about before we get to our final two little talking points here. The Sharks beat the Flyers 3-0. James Reimer with the shutout, baby. Sharks' second win of the year. James Reimer, Norris winner in 2022 2023. Book it. I'm all aboard the James Reimer bandwagon. I never left. But I'm all aboard it now. You can thank Steve Dangle for that and from you watching LFRs for the past 12 years now. So we've alluded towards the Canucks pretty much all show. Let's get into it. That third question comes from who else would it have been, Endo?
Oh
It's
my
AJ.
fucking god!
What is the fix for the Canucks at this point?
I
Now
thought I
it's
was gonna
worth
bother
noting.
you about Kuzmenko again.
Yeah, right. Well, he got an 80 from EA, so it's fine.
Yeah.
With that loss to the Sabres, they fell to 0-4-2 to start the year. A jersey was thrown on the ice. They are, which you're familiar with that. They are.
God damn it! One day without Leaf slander. Never gonna
Never,
happen.
never, absolutely never. Um, they are officially now the last team in the NHL without a win. Quinn Hughes is out week to week with a lower body injury. The word has come out as well. Bruce Boudreau was quoted in saying this: I don't get how a team that hasn't won a game and you have a good second period can come out in the third period and play with very little effort. I'm seeing what you're seeing. So even Bruce Boudreau, as the head coach of this team, who's one win away from his 600th win as a coach, is like, fucking no. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. You have Bo Horvat mention this. It's been a lot of years in the rebuild stage. At this point in the season, it just feels like it's never going to happen with us getting our first win, like we're never going to win again. The captain of your team, 6 games into a season, is saying it feels like we're never going to win again. Acknowledge like the jersey being thrown on the ice and how it sucks. And in general, it came out like, oh, the organization was instead aiming for a retool on the fly, building around a core of Pettersson, Miller, Hughes, and Demko. So, the Canucks never used the word rebuild. You have Bo Horvat openly using the word rebuild. The fans felt like they were in rebuild mode. And now the fans finally feel like, okay, shit, we're turning it around. And now you're at this point where they're 0-4-2. Fans are throwing jerseys on the ice. Quinn Hughes is injured. The captain's like, it just feels like we're never going to win. 6 games into a year. I get it, man. 6 losses in a row to start a year is pretty fucking rough. But like you talk about like the nihilism from me regarding NHL 23, like the doomerism from everything Canucks right now is insane to me. It's 6 games. It is. But I don't know if it's just in general a Canadian thing where everyone feels like the fucking sky is falling if they're not. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's like the Leafs. If they're not in first place, the sky's falling.
Yeah.
Like, it's 6 games into the year. You have 2 points from the overtime losses. Like, yeah, it's a bad start to the year. It doesn't mean you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we look at point percentage right now, I mean, do you think Minnesota wanted 1 win in their first 5 games? No. Should they panic yet? No. Same with like Nashville. Edmonton, by the way, off of points percentage, is currently 25th in the league. Are we ready to trade Connor McDavid? I don't know. Maybe some people from the Oilers side of things are. Who the fuck knows? I just I get it, but I don't get it in terms of the panic within the team. I just don't get it. Like, it'll sort itself out, or they're gonna be bad again. And if you're bad again this year, I get that that kind of sucks, but it's also not a terrible year to underperform and end up with a lottery pick. So what's the problem? Either you're gonna be fine and they'll turn it around like they probably should, whether it be with a coaching change or whatever, or they're gonna have a Connor Bedard sweepstakes opportunity. So what's the problem? Either way, they're gonna be okay. Am I reading the room incorrectly here?
No, they're gonna be okay. I just saw a picture of BBG who, after apparently he raged from NHL and he put a hole through his table. That's how much like I think about like the situation with the Canucks.
Holy shit! I just saw the
You saw it
picture.
too. Okay, so
Holy
for people
fuck!
on the podcast who are watching this, you like, if you're listening on Spotify right now or any other our audio listening stuff, you need to go to YouTube and go to this timestamp right now,
I
probably about like a
can
minute
see
and
his
10 minutes in.
shoes.
There's a picture of BBG the tweet says this damn game, man, and like there's like it's like a hole straight down through his table, and like you see like the crumbs, the shoes, the plastic bag, the oh my
Like, he had
god,
to have, like, dual-handed Hulk smashed it, right?
that's just strength. BBG
He's
be
been going to
fucking
the gym
lifting.
more.
Yeah, that's
Poor
why he's going to the
desk.
gym. So he can go smash down on the table, chat. I smash on the table. Ah, BBG. You completely derailed this whole thing about the Canucks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
No, it's
AJ, for not
fine
talking
because
about
I
them.
have
Yeah,
nothing to add about the Canucks other than it's
yeah,
6 games, let's calm the
it's
fuck
6.
down.
Same thing happened to the Leafs when goaltending situation was terrible and just everything just fell apart. Then they went on to have one of the best regular seasons in franchise history.
Like,
That's the
how
thing.
soon people forget. Endo, do you remember what happened in 2019?
The pandemic.
No, that was 2020.
It started in 2019 though.
Technically, but we didn't give a fuck about it until 2020.
Yeah.
Hockey-wise, do you remember what happened in 2019?
Um, John Tavares hit the post, and then we hit the ball in the post in the raffle ball, and then we didn't get Lafreniere.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Corwin, thank you for that, for putting it in my fucking brain. Thank you.
Not exactly what I was alluding towards. In 2019, the Boston Bruins did not win the Stanley Cup, despite making it to the final and having a game 7 in their home building. Who was that? Who was that series against?
Wait, sorry. Can you repeat that again? I was laughing at your comment on BBG's thing.
Thank you.
Sorry.
2019, the
Yep.
Boston Bruins played in the Stanley Cup final, lost a game 7 on home ice. Who did they play in that series?
Gloria, Gloria, I got your number.
Do you remember the 21st night of September? Now, do you
Yes.
remember about the 21st night of January 2019?
Oh, I get
The
it.
St. Louis Blues were in dead last in January of 2019. And they won the fucking Stanley Cup. And I'm, no offense to AJ or anybody else, I'm being asked like, oh, what do the Canucks have to do to fix this? It's the worst. Our fans are throwing jerseys on. You are 6 games in. 6. Calm down for a minute. 6 games. The St. Louis Blues were dead last and won the cup. The Philadelphia Phillies are going to the World Series. There was a point where it didn't look like they were going to make the playoffs. They absolutely sucked for like the last 15 games of the regular season. They turned it on. Made the playoffs. They're going to the World Series now. 6 games, dog. 6 games. Canucks
Mhm.
fans, fuck off with this doomerism nonsense of, oh my god, like the LA Kings in 2012, 8th seed, won the Stanley Cup.
You know what this is? You know what this
This
reminds me of?
happens, go ahead, but this happens in every sport,
Yep.
but especially in hockey, it's happened numerous times. And for some reason, I don't know, maybe it's like us with NHL 23, people just like to complain, we just like to complain. Maybe that's what it is.
Tougie, you're a homeowner, correct?
Yes, shockingly.
Okay. When you have a leaky faucet, what do you do with the leaky faucet?
Call
Do
someone who
you
knows how to fix it.
okay, as I say, do you A, replace the leaky fix the leaky faucet, B, replace the entire faucet, or C, replace the entire plumbing system
I
because
was
this
gonna
leaky
say move
faucet is the issue?
houses,
Or D, move houses.
tear it down.
It's
I
like
sell my house and give up.
when you have a spider in your house, do you
Burn it
A,
down.
burn down the house?
Well, this home's ruined. On to the next one.
Oh man, that's basically it's the only response that I have. Like, if you have a leaky faucet, do you remove the faucet, remove the entire plumbing system, or do you move house?
Hmm.
That's it. That's Canadian hockey in general.
Yeah.
You, I think it's because Canadians are starved so much of not having any playoff success, and then having the Habs, you know, go to the final and then party as if it's 1999 after winning a single game. It's like, oh shit, we want that over here too. Why is our team bad after being so good? Oh, it's 6 games in. That's why I've always said the first 10, 15 games of the season, to me, they don't matter. They don't matter at all. Because you can go off to a hot start or a cold start, but it's all about that middle where you really gain traction and start to separate from the pack. It's great that some teams are still like undefeated right now. But it's all about longevity. That's the thing. You could be a hot goaltender right now, but if you aren't doing good in the middle of the season when those points really, really matter the most to separate yourself from the other teams, there's nothing you can really do. They
Hmm.
have 2 points right now. There's not a single team in the league who does not have a single point. That's good. That's decent. If they didn't have a single point, it'd be more questionable, like, holy shit, like what's going on over there? But the fact that they still go to overtime is still something. Granted, they've blown like all their leads, but they're still getting a point out of the situation.
Hmm. So we had another talking point that I think we could skip over at this point because we can't possibly top the idea of burning down a house because of a spider or BBG Hulk smashing his desk. I think we've peaked, and that's a great part of podcasting. Know when to leave on a high note. So we will call it a show for today. I hope you enjoyed that 20 plus minutes of NHL 23 whinging and live reaction to a streamer Hulk smashing his desk over
Oh
NHL
my god.
23.
Like, I love BBG. He's a
I
great
do.
guy. But just he does it to himself, man. Like he does it to himself.
The
Why do I get
idea,
to make fun of, Chet? Why do I get to make fun of? Because I just just hold on. Oh, I got one right here. At least the fork is gone.
and what do you got going on until our next show on Thursday?
I'm gonna try and do some NHL 20 be a pro. I have everything set up. I have a command that literally responds to why are you playing NHL 20? Like verbatim. And it
Hmm.
just says, yeah, because 23 is in a current state of Daugwaltar. It is bad, chat. It's bad. And yeah. Someone said took a bite out of his desk. Suki, what do you got going on? Actually, are we gonna start the thing this week? Are you familiar with
Um,
what I'm talking about? The thing?
we might honestly just for the because the other thing I was thinking of doing franchise wise, the games killed my desire to do it, but there might
Yeah.
be another game that we've talked about in regards to the thing, and depending on the bras availability. good things might be happening. Dun,
Yeah,
dun,
so
dun,
that's about the end
dun.
of the podcast for you guys. Thank you guys for watching so much, and we appreciate it. You can follow me at twitch.tv/endomills or Twitter, endomills, everywhere endomills. Actually, YouTube's rolling out a new thing where now everyone's getting personalized URLs, which is pretty cool.
Mm,
Follow me on YouTube at endomills. I'm posting up more YouTube content, probably not NHL related. I'm actually doing pretty well over there. Like, I'm surprised.
hey.
Like, my videos are getting like 200 views and I have like maybe like 80 followers, 80 subscribers, which is pretty decent.
Subscribe to Endomills.
Yeah.
Follow me everywhere at Tougie24.
Big Brother's
Twitch,
watching.
Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, on the clock, where the party never stops.
Hey, also, don't forget to check out Sin. He may not be here, but he's here with us in spirit. Sin for the Win Productions, Sin FTW Prod, or Paul Sinders on Spotify. Absolute bangers. I've never done an outro like this before. I might do it more often.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'll have you do the
Yeah.
intro and the outro. You know, I'm good with it. I'm good with
There
it.
you go.
We'll see you next week, everybody. We'll see, or not next week. We'll see everybody on Thursday. It feels like it's going to be fucking next week by the time Thursday gets here. Jesus Christ. You never
Oh,
know. The
Lord.
Canucks might lose another game or two, and then, oh my God. Who's to say? We'll see you next week. We'll make sure on our socials to share pictures from the desk's funeral.
Oh, I'm gonna go put a picture of the desk in a casket now.
Please do that. We'll see you on Thursday, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.